Satnam, hello. My name is Zita Harkaran, and I'm here today with Sara Padmani Ajit, my longtime Kundalini Yoga friend and co-teacher, because we run cleanse together, classic yogic cleanse for many years already, right?
Crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Sarah took a little break last year because she had a baby, but just during the cleanse, right? She was born during the cleanse.
She was born during the cleanse. Yeah, she just turned one on Sunday, on Mother's Day. So
Mm.
the cleanse, did we do it? No, I don't remember when the cleanse was last year, but I think it was during the cleanse. We must have done it a little earlier last year. No, it's always the same
Yeah,
time.
yeah. We definitely did it earlier last year.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty late this year. I don't know why. It's like I was not.
I kind of like it. It ends right around summer solstice. It feels nice.
Yeah, like you're totally ready for
Yeah,
summer energy, for
yeah.
the sun and the looks and all of that. I'm so looking forward to it because I need to lose some weight. Yeah, and it's nice to have the structure. But the reason why we are here today, because we want to talk a little bit about Kundalini Yoga and what brings Sarah Padmani Ajit to Kundalini Yoga. Why does she think that, this is the practice that she likes the best? And yeah, and other little things. So let's see where this is going to take us.
Yeah, let's see where this is going to take us. I didn't know what it was going to be about. Zita said, "You want to talk?" I said, "Obviously, I want to talk to Zita." So it's totally free form, no rehearsed answers. I don't know where this is going. All from the heart.
Yeah, we're asking some real questions now. Okay, so share with us, if you like, how did you come to Kundalini Yoga, and why did it become the most? Why did you stick with it? Right? Why did you become a teacher? Why did you teach for so many years?
Right. I actually came to Kundalini Yoga. Well, I was exposed to it first during my vinyasa teacher training that I did. It was a really lovely vinyasa teacher training with two teachers in Manhattan. And one of the requisites of the course was that you had to take X amount of hours from all different types of yoga, which I think is amazing because there's so many different types. So I went to a Hatha class, I went to an Ishta class, I went to there's like a bajillion different styles of yoga that we ended up having to go to. But I ended up going to a Kundalini class, and that was my first exposure to Kundalini. And I know that it was, but I don't remember that class whatsoever. I know that I did it, but I don't remember it. I remember that I tried it, and I was like, that's very interesting. I think I'll put that on the shelf until later. I think
Mm-hmm.
I thought, oh no, I do remember. I kept falling asleep.
Oh.
There was the Kriya, whatever the Kriya was, it must have been one of those Kriyas where you keep taking Shavasana a few times throughout the Kriya. And every time I lay down for Shavasana, I fell asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And it was because the time of my life that it was, I think I was like working 3 jobs, working out all the time, in school. I was just like young and full of tons of yang energy, not realizing I was probably overdoing it and really sleep deprived. And so the Kundalini yoga was probably really beneficial for me. But every time I fell asleep in the class, like I would open my eyes and everybody else would be doing an exercise. And I felt so embarrassed. So that put me off from it at first because I was embarrassed, not realizing like it's, if someone came to my class and they fell asleep and everybody else was up doing jumping jacks and somebody was sleeping, I would be like, yes, you know what I mean? You'd be like, they're getting what they need. And now I know that. But at the time I was like, so self-conscious. And so I didn't go back to it for a while, but then I was practicing a style of yoga called Katona Yoga. Have you heard of it?
Mm-hmm.
With Naveen Mishan, who's amazing. And she has a practice that is so intellectually vast and so specific to the body and sacred geometry and how your body fits itself. But she also has a very interesting, almost like a psychic ability to look at a person's body and see what they're holding on to, kind of like what they need. And I remember her saying to me that I was too deep, that I was too deep and I needed to lighten up. And that, I was taking everything very seriously, which is true. Like, there's a time for everything. There's a season for everything in life. And I think I was in my, my early 30s and meditating for hours every day and studying texts and the stuff we still do, right? You're like, yeah, sounds good to me, because I know.
No, but like you did it before Kundalini Yoga. That's interesting. Yeah.
But it was very serious. Like, it wasn't like a sense of humor about it. You know what I mean? And she was like, you need to lighten up. And not like she was telling me that like, oh, you need to do this, but hey, if you're looking for an aspect of your personality that maybe could like, use some tweaking, maybe you don't need to be so serious, is essentially. And she did a lot of breath work. And I just, in my head, I thought, lighten up, breath work, lift up, raise up, arms up. She would always do kind of like an ego eradicator in every class. And that made me feel very airy and spacious. And I thought, lighten up. And so even though she didn't say Kundalini yoga, I was like, there is this other yoga that does all this breath work. And the people I know that do it seem to be very light and have a really good sense of humor. So I'm going to look into that. And I was good friends with Chris Chen, and I was going to him for acupuncture, and Hari Kar was also going to him for acupuncture, and I would start chatting with her in the waiting room. And
oh, wow. So you met her before you did the class. Okay. Wow.
Hilarious, as we know. And it was so like, I would chat with her and she was hilarious. And I'm like, okay, this is a Kundalini teacher. Let me go check this out. And so I started going to, Hari had, you were there. It was on Friday afternoons. She had a women's course. Do you remember that? Where she was just doing the women's teachings. It was like a specific women's course on Friday afternoons. And I started going to that. And I kind of consider myself sort of a practical scientist in life. I'm just like, do something and do it again and do it again. And like, does it work or does it not work? And I just felt better, when I started doing this yoga. I felt more relaxed. I felt more at ease. I felt less serious. And it, when something works, I don't really need to question it that much anymore. Like, I'll really question something, so I'll really look into it. But at the end of the day, it's like, how does it feel? Like, it felt like home, it's like, oh, I feel light. I feel more energy. I feel like everybody in this space is really lovely to be around and friendly. So I just keep coming back. And then when you keep coming back, you're like, I want to know more. I want to know more. So then I did the teacher training, and then a great way to stay with it and keep your practice is to teach. Honestly, that's just the best way to practice, is to teach, because if you're not teaching, there's not the impetus to go through the manuals or practice it before you have to teach it to somebody else. And you can't really fall off your practice if you're teaching it.
yeah, exactly. Then it's just like ball is rolling. But it's interesting what you said, because I felt the same, like before I did Kundalini yoga practice. I felt that I was like serious and highly in my head and judging myself completely, not allowing myself to just be, right? And just kind of like
I'm relaxed.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm studying relaxation a
Like
lot.
a piece of rock. It's like, but then when you are like that, you look for different things that help you relax, right? So there are drugs and alcohol and all, because that's when you feel like, okay, I can relax now.
Yeah.
But when I started practicing, it was like, oh, I can feel light even without, like, I can feel more like myself in my regular life. This is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it works so fast too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I wonder, like you did try many different yoga practices. How do you feel like they compare?
I don't know. I mean, I think, I've been practicing vinyasa yoga for a pretty long time before I found Kundalini yoga. I don't know. I'm trying to think in my head how many years it was. I don't know, but decades.
Mm-hmm.
And had a daily meditation practice. I meditated every single morning for probably about 10 years before I found Kundalini yoga. So what I would say is I think that it was more of like a mindfulness based from the Buddhist tradition. I think that has helped me in everything because it's such a good base, because it's just like, be present, watch your breath. Can you sit with what's coming up, with what's arising? And can you be a witness to it? Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I find that practice extremely powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And I've also I did a, I can't even say, it's like a Vedanta meditation, or what's the other word for it? I can't think right now. But where they, you pay and they give you a mantra and you're not supposed to ever tell anybody else. And then
A transcendental meditation.
transcendental meditation, but that phrase was actually like trademarked by somebody. So that I think they actually call it Vedanta, but it is transcendental meditation. And that as well was like really powerful. I feel like they're powerful foundations, bases, but the Kundalini is the rocket ship. It's like, I felt like I was doing that and I was really good, but you can stay really steady and really good. But then once I found Kundalini, it was like, and we're off. It was like, we're stable, we're good, everything's great, and let's go.
Wow, yeah, that's what I like to hear. I just like to hear praises about Kundalini yoga.
Yeah.
Yeah, but from what I personally didn't try so many things. I did a little bit of yoga, a little bit of meditation, but before I found Kundalini yoga, so I don't have like years of experience with vinyasa. But it seems to me that it puts all these pieces that other people had separately all together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like everything is there.
Yeah, it's such a jewel, right? There's the breath work, the meditation, the physicality. If
Lifestyle.
you want to go deep, there's tons to study. That's the other thing. It's never boring. There's so much to learn always. But you also don't have to. It's like this past year, I have not cracked a book for sure, because I've got the baby, but I have built up practices where it's like, okay, well now is when it's really put to the test, right? Because
Mhm.
I'm sleep deprived. I've got another human attached to me the majority of the day. And they say, this can change your state in 3 minutes. Well, I have 3 minutes. Like I have 3 minutes every day. So, and
Yeah.
it does.
Do you think, do you feel like that Kundalini's practices helped you through motherhood as well?
Oh, for sure. For sure, for sure. Yeah. I was even I was meditating. I did a Zoom class with Hari while I was in labor in the hospital.
Wow.
I had the phone. The phone was on a Zoom while I was in the triage, while the nurses like were putting the needles in me, and I was like, whatever I was doing. I wasn't doing prosperity, but there's something like this. And they were like, okay, sticking me with needles. and then after Evelina was born, same thing. I was holding her and doing the class there because it was just my because everything was changing, but this was something that I always come back to. I felt like it was definitely a way for me to have just, you know, my community,
Like a constancy.
constancy. Yeah, my community and my constancy, for sure.
Yeah.
Because everything else was crazy. There's like nurses, and my partner was stressed out, and like, when's the baby coming? And it was like, that's all just gonna happen when it happens. This is all like life happening over here, and I'm just gonna stay,
Yeah.
you know, in the center of it, you know.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I love that you're saying that because actually, when Ariana was born, next day was Yogi Bhajan's birthday, right? And we always used to wake up for sadhana. And I remember right after my cesarean, like 4 o'clock in the morning, I like literally it was maybe 4 hours after that. I would there was no Zoom back then.
Right. Yeah.
But in my head, I kept repeating the Alonga
Well, cars.
I like kind of like tune in and imagine that I'm there in the room. But another thing you mentioned about because this is, I'm kind of like studying like women's studies, specifically Simone de Beauvoir.
Oh, wow.
It's really
I
good.
haven't heard that name in forever. I love her.
Yeah. So exactly. So she talks a lot about like for women, things always change. Like there is like, you know, the body always changes. You have period all the time, and then you get pregnant, and you almost like don't even recognize yourself as you're pregnant. And as a mother, you also don't almost recognize yourself. So it's like, as you said, you really wanted some kind of like, this is who I am.
Yeah.
Like something that to hold on to and to keep the community. Yeah, I felt the same. I wanted to like, okay, because it's not easy being a woman.
No, it's not. It's not. I mean,
In my pregnancy, I was like, who am I with these feelings and these thoughts? This is not me at all.
yeah, there was two of you.
Yeah. So how are you adjusting?
You know, like she just turned a year, so it's starting to get easier. She's having some sleep regressions this week though, so that's tricky. She does not want to sleep.
Yeah.
So we finally figured it out. You know, I want a puppy.
Yeah. Isabella.
Isabella.
Yes. Okay, go sit. Go. Okay.
So cute.
She likes to come here.
Eleanor will be really excited to see her, except she would call her a cat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because every day we go out on the street and she sees dogs and goes, cat, cat.
Oh.
But,
okay.
it's really nice, but I definitely have gotten, when she was really little, it was easy to keep a daily practice because I would just wear her and she would sleep on me, or I would put her in the bouncer and I would bounce her with my foot while I meditated and she would just stare at me or fall asleep, right? But now at 1, you know, I don't get up early and do sadhana because I'm exhausted because she's been like up so many times throughout the night. And then once she's up, I'm up and we're off to the races, you know. And then I've tried to sit and meditate with her in the room, but she's mobile now and everything's in the mouth and she's getting into everything. So I've definitely found it tricky lately to get my practice in. And that's why I'm really excited to start our cleanse again, because it's just that little window every morning that'll be blocked out. I know it's happening. My partner knows it's happening. Doesn't mean he has to watch Evelina for that whole time, but I could do it in here and get the computer up out of her reach and give her tons of toys to occupy, and she'll see that mommy's doing a thing. And maybe I have to leave early or mute it so if she's screaming, and who knows, but like the fact that it's set and it's there and the other people are there, I'm really excited because I've gotten away from it, and I feel it. And it's definitely more challenging with a 1-year-old, but is definitely not impossible. But I think you kind of need the structure and the help and support of other people to be like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna do this. We can do it. And then I'll probably get some momentum from there and figure it out with her. Because it's new, like, right? I haven't had to I've been meditating for however many years it's been, but I haven't had to deal with another little creature, little human around. So
Yeah.
I'm excited for her to be a part of it. You know, it's funny, when we get in the car, every time we do a good anime mantra, protection mantra before we drive, and she knows it now, and she gets really excited, and she kind of hums or sings at the same tone that we're doing. She's like, ah.
Wow, so she's gonna be a little yoga baby.
Like it or not.
Yeah.
We're not gonna force her to practice, but obviously she'll be around it, you know.
Yeah, because you both practice, which is great.
Yeah.
But like what you were saying about the cleanse, I noticed it's going to, even though it's just like 30 minutes every morning, but there's going to be already this kind of a separation, just a little bit, right? Like a little bit of time for you.
Yes.
While she is next to you and, you know, being part of your life, not completely. Yeah, that's really, I think it's very healthy. Very
Yeah,
good.
really awesome.
Yeah. I'm looking forward that I'm going to like eat really healthy. I was actually, I wanted to share this. I was actually just like tuning into the Mother Earth, right? I don't know, just we were kind of like channeling in one of our classes. And what the Mother Earth said, she was like, I am totally fine. Like I have trees, I have animals, I have fish, like I am totally fine. But I worry about you guys as people, like you are not happy. Like you're not, like lots of you are just not happy. And then she said, you know, you should just spend more time with me. Let me nurture you. Let me nourish you. Go into my waters. That's how I was like, you know, go into the oceans and springs and just be in this energy, and it's going to help. And then was like, eat fresh foods, eat what I give you. Don't eat that chemical stuff, you know, like eat that. And it's like, this is exactly what cleanse is about. Just like, I'm going to get nourished by the Mother Earth.
Even now, we haven't started yet, but already starting to think about it. It starts transforming my relationship to Earth and to my body. And this anecdote, I think you'll find funny. Yesterday, Robert takes guitar lessons on Wednesday night, so I had to keep the baby out of the house because she loves the guitar, but she'll run up and like start grabbing it and playing it. So I try to keep her out. And so I was just like, okay, we're outside. So it was like extra time on the swings, right? And we went to a different playground, and I'm pushing her on the swings. And I was going through Spotify, and the mantra for the Subhag Kriya came up on Spotify. I wasn't going to play it because I'm not meditating, but it hit play, and then I went to go change it, but Evelina got really excited about it. She was like, ah! I was like, okay, let's play it. So I'm playing it. And as I'm doing it, I was like listening to it. I'm like pushing her. I'm like, hud, matching the swings to the hud, right? And then it gets to the point where you're doing God, right? And so as I'm doing that, Evelina points up to the tree, and she loves the tree, and she wants me to see the tree. And she's like, ah, like pointing at this tree. And I was like, yes, the tree. And so I'm pushing her on the swing and I'm going, God, tree, God. I mean, like, most of the other parents had already left the playground.
Good.
But I did not care because I was having such a time. I was like, I'm with my baby and we're under a tree and she sees the tree and look how excited she is to see that tree because she knows that that tree is God. And now I've got this mantra playing that reminded me that the tree is God. And like, it was just so fun.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Yes.
Cracking up laughing. She was like, ah. So fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I forgot I haven't done that Kriya in a long time, but as the song was playing, then it was like Hare Hare Hari, and I just immediately started doing it. I was like, Waheguru, and everyone was like, whoa, and she started repeating it and doing it.
Wow. Well, yeah, is that what's your favorite Kriya? Is that your favorite Kriya? Or
I know you did that one for a long time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that's my favorite Kriya, but that's probably in my top 5. That is definitely a top 5er. I love that one.
Okay, so Subha Kriya, yes, it's everybody. I don't know if it's really favorite, but it works. It's not like I enjoy.
Yeah, it works. I think just a simple ego eradicator, I always come back to a lot. I feel like that changes the state so fast. It's like, okay, 3 minutes, get your arms up, open up the lungs, get the navel point activated, get your drishti focused, satnam. It's just like everything just goes, whoom, it just feels like it comes online whenever I do that one.
That's a good one. Yes. So this is a great recommendation for anyone who yeah. When would you recommend this? Like, I guess you said like when you want to feel online, when you want to feel.
Yeah, just kind of like you can tell the energy's off and like you don't have to think about it too much. It's like, okay, Satnam, that's, not a long mantra. There's no times to check. There's no like positions. It's just like arms up, pump the breath, let's go. It's just so simple and so effective very quickly. I have been doing the intelligence meditation, this guy, for the past 3 years now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And
how do you feel about that? How is that working for you?
Well, I think it worked pretty well because I somehow managed to get into this graduate neuroscience program at Oxford, and I wouldn't have thought that I would ever do that. I'm like a meathead yogi. Now all of a sudden I'm like in this like,
Yeah.
crazy program.
By the way,
like I think maybe this worked out.
But I never said that. I don't think I said it to you, but I find it so inspiring that you go to Oxford studying sleep medicine. It's just like, I want to do that. Is it for like a graduate school, for master's, or?
It's not, so I'm not in the master's track right now. I'm getting a postgraduate diploma, which is, I guess, more common in Europe. They don't have it in the States as much. It's essentially the same as a master's, but without the research thesis.
Oh, okay.
There's only a few people in my class that are doing the masters, and so we all have the same classes, but the people that are doing the masters have a thesis and they do research. So that's the difference, and I might go back and do that after I'm done, but I'm like, well, I'm not in academia, I'm not a scientist, so I didn't really feel that I needed that. I just really wanted the information to be able to share with people from more of like a public health standpoint, not a research standpoint. So
okay, yeah. So what brings you exactly? I know you said you wanted to share why particularly sleep medicine?
This is the unscientific part of the decision-making process.
Oh yeah, that's great.
I honestly, I don't know. I just love sleeping so much. I just love it. I've always had really vivid dreams. Like ever since I was a little girl, I've kept a dream journal, and I wake up and write down my dreams every morning. And I get so much knowledge from that subconscious storyline that's running while we're sleeping. And during over like the, kind of the lockdown portion of the pandemic, I felt that I was seeing so many friends and peers really struggle with sleeping because their social their schedule had been taken away. Essentially, like, you're not getting up and going to work, you're not on the same schedule, you might be stressed out, you're looking at devices more, there's all kinds of reasons.
You don't move as much. Yeah.
You weren't moving as much. Exactly. Like the gyms were closed, the yoga studios were closed, unless you were like online or had access to like go run around outside. Yeah, you weren't moving as much. Exactly. I was sleeping great. That was kind of the thing. I was like, is this my superpower? I should learn about it and teach people. I really did. Like even in my pregnancy, not to be annoying, but I was sleeping probably like 8-9 hours a night every night throughout my whole pregnancy. I didn't get like, people struggle a lot because of hormones and back pain and all kinds of things, but I was just like out. Now that I have a baby, that's a whole different story. Now the sleep isn't happening so much because she doesn't sleep, but now I appreciate it even more.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I really love sleeping. I'm really interested in dreams and why we dream and how we can use our dreams, what messages they're giving to us, and what's the science behind
So
it.
you study like that too, the subconscious part of the dreams?
So no, we don't get into it kind of like a Jungian analysis type thing. It's more of the biological mechanisms of sleep. So the majority of it, as far as the dreams are concerned, is really for memory consolidation and sorting through the information we get throughout the day and our traumas or any really charged emotional events we have. And then, but what I just think is cool is that it puts it into these cool like storylines, because that holds our attention. And even if you don't remember your dreams, your memory is, you're cataloging events to your memory in these like wild scenarios in your dreams. It's just fascinating. But there's also still a lot we don't know about it. And so I thought that was cool. I'm into like, what do we not know about? It felt like kind of like the deep sea or space, like of our bodies, and like it's
like you're
black hole that we're not totally 100% aware of what happens or why. But now I have a lot more understanding what happens and why. But like I wanted to know.
Yeah, it was like almost like you were on some mystical quest.
Yes.
Scientific quest. Oh yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Yeah. I love those kind of dreams where where just things happen and like wow, and it's almost as if like they open doors of possibility for you. Like, look, I mean, sometimes it's scary, but sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
Because like mind gets so trapped sometimes.
Well, and that's where I think meditation can even help with the messages that come through in our dreams, right? Because if we're sitting through the discomfort, whether physically or mentally, that might come up in a meditation, we've learned to sit with the discomfort and just watch it, because we know that it's temporary and that it's going to pass. And then your mind gets so trained to, it's almost like a surrender. It's kind of like your mind gets trained to step back and watch itself. Then that's going to carry over into your dreams, where you're not going to get like so afraid or so fearful or freaked out. You're like, I find I've even meditated in dreams. I'm like, am I wasting my dream? I'm just meditating in my dream. but I feel like it doesn't, it allows you to not have such an emotional reaction in your dream. And then there's other like kind of, I can't remember them right now, but there's actually specific neurochemicals that are released when we're dreaming that suppress the emotional part of our brain so that we can experience really scary events while we sleep and not be so scared by them. It's like a way that our brain kind of gives us this kind of almost like exposure therapy of like exposing us to our fears without being as scared by it as we would be in real life, because that highly emotional part of our brain is kind of suppressed a little bit while we're dreaming. So that's really interesting.
What if like sometimes we are scared even more than in real life? You know, sometimes you wake up almost like in a terror.
Yeah, that's only happened to me maybe like I would say twice ever in my life, but I do have people in my family that happens maybe once a month. I haven't studied that too much yet, but I think sometimes it's what happens is if you kind of wake up when you haven't really finished a cycle yet. I mean, like if you wake up before you would naturally wake up, you're still kind of caught in the dream and you don't know where you are, and your heart rate might be really aroused because you were dreaming. And you know, it's interesting if you look at the brain waves while we're dreaming, the brain waves sometimes are actually more active than when we're awake. And then you know, then we have non-REM sleep, and then we have slow wave sleep where it's like really, really low brain waves, because that's when our brain is like really resting. So sometimes though, we can wake up while we're in the middle of rapid eye movement sleep. And when we're in rapid eye movement sleep, your heart rate is a little bit elevated. So if you wake up and you're like, my heart's racing, I had this dream, I'm scared, I don't know. It's only happened to me twice, so I can't like anecdotally speak to it, and I haven't really studied it yet. So I'm just trying to figure it out with you right now. Like just thinking about the mechanisms of why we would get more scared. I'm not entirely sure, but I should look into it because my partner
because the way it happens to me very rarely, but it happens, and sometimes it happens to Ariana too, is that you actually have to wake up because this dream is so scary.
I have no idea. I know that my dad told me, my dad's a psychologist, and I know that he had told me before that we very rarely die in our dreams because the mind won't let it happen. It'll wake you up.
Yeah, and it's not like the death. No, it's just someone is very scary or something is happening, and I have to like wake up, and then I have to call on all my angels to come and help me. Because I don't even remember what it was in a dream. You know, it's not like that. I just know that I'm very scared like that.
I don't know. Then we can go off record and off scientific stuff and talk about some like wacky new age stuff, and maybe there was like some other spirits in the room. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we can go off. We are not on any scientific record here, okay?
That happened the other night. Sometimes I have like an auditory wake up every few years or so. I'll feel that I hear someone whisper my name, and that wakes me up. And it happened just this past weekend. I heard someone go, Sarah, Sarah. And so I woke up. I thought it was Robert being like, trying to have me do something with the baby, right? And I was like, no, he's sleeping. She's sleeping. Oh, I guess it was just some spirit being. I'm like, I don't want to talk to you right now, spirit being. I'm going to bed. I'm sleeping. So I went back to sleep. And then I told Robert jokingly in the morning, I'm like, some spirit was trying to wake me up last night. He was going, Sarah, Sarah. And he goes, well, that happened to me too. I'm like, what do you mean? And he goes, someone was whispering, Robert. And he goes, and I thought it was you. And I woke up and looked at you and you were asleep. And I was like, well, okay.
The same night?
The same night. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow. No,
so like, I don't have an explanation for that. I don't think we both dreamed it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I do believe in spirit beings, and I think when I was little, they came to me a lot.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know if they were a spirit or some people think they're aliens. Like there are all kinds of takes on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's what's happening to Ariana as well sometimes. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
Um,
I believe it. I don't really know much about it, but I believe it.
yeah, yeah. Okay, well, mm, besides, so you use a lot of ego eradicator and some subakriya. Is there any, and then intelligence. So that's how we got into
Yeah, that's how we
intelligence.
get into it. Yeah.
Okay, so the intelligence meditation, you feel like it's really giving you the interest in more of a scientific kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just so rich, that one. And it doesn't seem like it is, but like the first time you do it, you're like, what? You're envisioning Jupiter and Saturn and
Oh, that one. Yes, yes, yes.
yeah,
I did that one. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
But there's something about it because there's so many aspects to it, right? There's a breath, there's a movement, you're moving the fingers, and then there's a visualization where you're going outside of yourself and you're actually visualizing these planets in space. So I feel that there's something about the combination of you have a specific breath, the breath changes like 3 times throughout the meditation, you have a visualization, you have movement, like your brain is doing like 3 things at once, and then
Mm,
it's changing throughout. And
mm, mm.
I feel like what I've gotten from it is what you kind of need when I'm writing these like scientific research papers, is to be able to take in a lot of information and then sift through it to like get rid of what doesn't matter,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of
Yeah,
what all the meditations are really meant to do, is just kind of like clear out the garbage,
yeah.
right?
You like get to the point.
Get to the
I
point.
Yeah, I noticed that. And now I love like reading any kind of like even complicated article. I'm like, I know I'll be able to boil it down to what they really try, or what is interesting to me, what they really try to say.
Yeah, what they're trying to say, and then the things that they're not saying.
Yeah. How smart you are. Yeah. And then yeah, I catch them on their mistakes and
Well,
their blind
it's
spots.
interesting with these research papers, they're all geared towards more positive results because somebody's doing the study and then they publish the study. So they want the study to say, we did this thing, we had this finding, but sometimes then you look at the actual data, which they have to show, and the data doesn't always add up to what they're actually saying.
Mm.
Like, and you
Ah.
and you can even see that in like major news outlets too, obviously. Like, you watch and you're like, okay, I see that this information happened, but I also see the headline you gave it, and the headline you gave it actually is different than the actual information you just provided, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so easy to lie with statistics. It's like no one is really going to pay
Statistics, but
attention.
it's easy to say that and then expect that people will just look at that and then not look any deeper into it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's what lots of doctors were saying. It's like, yeah, you do try to keep on top of all this research, but most of the time, all you read is the headline and
Yeah,
maybe the results. And,
yeah.
you don't have time to go through all of
Time to
them.
go through all that. Any one of those papers, usually takes me about 2.5 hours to read.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm looking at everything, it usually takes me about 2.5 hours. But to just look at the abstract, what they said, this is what the study did, these are the results, these are our findings, that takes 10 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you actually, and then you're like, okay, so you have to kind of take at face value what they put on the front page if you're not going to take the 2.5 hours to read the rest of the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's like insidious or like
No, yeah.
manipulative in any way. They really believe in what they're doing. But sometimes you look at it and you're like, well, did you actually prove the point you wanted to make, because it doesn't look like you did.
Yeah.
And so that's what I've found from the intelligence meditation is it's this kind of like sorting ability to sort information, which I think is super necessary right now with our world and the way that we receive information, you know. Yeah.
I kind of have a vision of you like being a teacher.
Sure. Oh boy. Well,
Cool.
lately I've just been like covered in not chalk dust, covered in like yogurt and formula and
No,
milk.
that just
I'll be
makes you
covered in chalk
stronger.
dust. What?
That just makes you stronger, you
Okay.
know. It helps you. After that, you're gonna have such a focus. Nothing's gonna disturb you.
I feel it. I have such a respect for mamas now that I am one. I'm just like, oh, I get it now. I get it. It makes you super tough.
Yeah, and gives you lots of patience.
Lots of patience.
Oh my goodness. I saw this mom in the park with this boy who was like out of control. And he was like, I want to do this. And she was so patient with him. She would just like follow him. And she's like, okay, let's just go this way. And he's like, going the other way. No, let's go this way. And he's like, takes off. Oh, wow.
So sweet. That's why they made him so cute.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I think I hear them back.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, nice talking to you. This was so much fun. What I wanted to mention, oh yes, so we did talk about the cleanse, but let's talk about like what happened in past few years we've been doing it together. How did you experience going through the cleanse on your body?
How did I experience? Well, last year, like I said, I was pregnant, so I really modified it because I definitely was like, needing to not be so strict last year. But it's just every year is different. It's more fun, and I don't find it restrictive. I think a lot of people, when you hear cleanse, they think restrictive, but I find, hold on, this baby is coming over here, and I'm just gonna let her. Evelina, I'm over here now. Come here. We're talking about the cleanse. Come here. This year, I can say this. This year, I'm really excited to do it and to share all of the recipes with Evelina, because I know it's going to get me making things for her that aren't occurring to me to make right now. Right now, I just do whatever's easy, right? Like yogurt. Whoa, you climbing?
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like yogi mush. That would be great for her.
Yeah. Yeah. Or like banana orange smoothie, right? That we have.
Orange smoothie. Even the one with the collar, not the collar. I always say that. I always say cholera. We're not making cholera smoothies. Chlorophyll.
Chlorophyll. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I find that when you narrow down your possibilities of what you are eating, it expands, because you have to be like, well, I'm not eating all that. So what am I eating? And all of a sudden I know that I'll be eating more like mung beans and split peas and way more fruits and vegetables, because like you kind of just get in your routine, right? Like you get in your habit. I know every time I go to the store, I get oranges and apples, and those are my fruits. I pretty rarely vary from oranges and apples, but on the cleanse, I get all kinds of fruits, and like that means Evelina's only really had oranges and apples. You'll get kiwis and grapes and oh, she's waving. Hold on, she's climbing her climber.
Hi.
Whoa. So my experience every year is that I get way more variety in my diet than I do the rest of the year. And I think people think it's during the cleanse, you get a restriction, where actually I feel like I get way more variety the month that we do the cleanse.
Exactly. It's just what's hard is to say bye to these like pizza and all that other stuff that we eat. And then, yeah, I enjoy it so much. For me, it's like the time of colors, and it's time of, and I like that it's because then one thing is to just do the cleanse on your own, but then we have other people and you share recipes, and so many times I wanted to quit and stop, but knowing that there was someone else doing this with me and that they're not quitting and that they're sharing the recipes, I was like, no, I'm not quitting either. I'm not changing this. And then seeing each other every morning,
Yeah,
it's,
that's really nice. I love that part.
yeah.
That's what I every year I'm just like, good morning, here we are together doing the yoga.
Yeah, so I'm so glad you'll be doing it. Oh yeah, I wanted to mention that I will put in the comments all the 3 meditations you have mentioned,
Hmm,
if anyone wants to try it.
yeah, for sure.
But also I wanted to mention that in the cleanse, I wanted to do one new kriya, or maybe, yeah, probably something new. So
Oh, this year on the cleanse? Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
I'll share that with you too,
Okay.
what we are going to do. Yeah.
Excited for new
Oh
things.
yeah, definitely join us. We start May 23rd, and yeah, we practice together for half an hour. It's yoga, meditation, and recipes, eating,
And
eliminating.
support.
Yeah, and we go gradually.
Yeah.
Like it's not a jump in right away.
Yeah.
It's a really slow, easy process that makes
I
it
love
much.
it. I'm excited we're doing it again. Every year. Every year. I just want to get more, and I want to get more people on board because people are always like, I don't want to do the cleanse, but I want to do yoga. And I was like, all right, fine. Just come and do the yoga. Like, that's fine. But then I think you start to want to do the cleanse once you're doing the yoga, because then you start to feel like, oh, maybe I could use a little more vitamins and
Yeah,
just
exactly.
trying to do the cleanse and not the yoga. I think the same thing would happen. Like, just eat healthy with us, but then you'll probably end up wanting to meditate and move your body too.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, and you mentioned something. People do have resistance on being on cleanse. Yeah, definitely. um, but the beautiful thing about this is that we don't really like tell you exactly what to eat. The options are open, and you can go at your own speed. Um, but we do give you guidance, like the recipes and
There's a
shopping list.
structure. Like there's
Yeah.
a color within the lines, but then like you pick your color.
Mhm. Yeah, or like whatever is handy for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like so many times I was like, I don't know what to eat. I'm so lost. But then something always appears, like a nut or some kind of nice smoothie appears. And I realize, oh my gosh, these things are around.
Yeah.
I never noticed them.
Exactly. That's what it hones your awareness. It hones your noticing of Mama Earth's abundance of delicious.
Yeah. Yeah. So she wants to nourish us. She wants to make sure that we eat her fruits and feel the life energy.
You had with her. I like that.
Huh?
That conversation you had with her. That makes me happy.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else you'd like to mention?
No, I think that's about it. My friend said, this is bad, but I'll end on this note because I can hear a diaper change happening in there. She's like, oh, you're gonna put the baby on the green cleanse. Her diapers are gonna get really interesting. I'm not putting the baby on the green cleanse because she is gonna be eating a lot more green foods over the next month for sure. Those diapers might get interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And the babies, they have very natural taste palette
Give it to me, babe.
where
Have
their taste
natural what?
palette is not like spoiled. So they really can taste like for some people at the beginning of the cleanse, they cannot taste the yogi mush. But second week, third week into the cleanse, all of a sudden you can taste it.
Yes.
So babies, oh, here's your food, or what is that? That's what
Right,
you can
because her
do.
taste buds haven't been burnt out on too much like hot
Yes.
sauce and salt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her taste buds are so refined. So for us, it's like we become little babies like that.
Well, I think she's excited.
What is that?
Saline drops.
Oh, okay.
Didn't take it from her. She'll get upset.
Okay, another one. How many she has? You are such a happy baby. Oh, and you're doing cloth diapers? Oh, here. That's amazing.
That's for Mama Earth too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's amazing. They're so cute. Yeah, wow, you're talking a lot here.
Do you wanna say bye to Zita with a Satnam? Yeah.
Okay, let's put our palms together. We'll chant together.
Ready?
Satnam. Satnam.
She got all quiet.
Thanks so much for watching. And remember, you are all welcome to join our Classic Yogic Clans, which is an online community of those who like to upgrade their diet, their fitness level, and mental wellness. We do yoga, we do meditation, and we do a 4-week cleanse, which is guided and simple to get into. And you'll have a community of others who will support you on this journey. No experience is necessary, but please hurry up because we start May 23rd. We've done it over the years many times with wonderful results, with people who want to come back because they have felt so amazing every year when they do it and afterwards. Okay, remember we start May 23rd, 2022. We repeat it every year, so you get a chance to do it again. But if you want to feel good now, join now.